So every time I get the opportunity to, I almost always will tell you guys to never use a certain type of iPhone or certain types of iPhones. Now, if you're on a budget, and even if you're on like the lowest extreme budget where you can only afford a phone for like $50 to $100, I will tell you it makes absolutely no sense to own or buy a phone or plan on buying a phone that is on a severely outdated version of software. Now, I think most of us by now know, like, iOS 10, iOS 11, these are outdated versions. But if you're planning on buying a phone like an iPhone 6 or an iPhone, 5S, or even probably an iPhone 6S as of this point, it really doesn't make too much sense beyond a few different reasons. Now, the other day, I just went ahead and I used my iPhone 6 for a day, right? And it wasn't anything crazy. I still have my other iPhone laying around, so if I needed to, I could use it. But primarily, I was using my iPhone 6. And the biggest issue that I ran into wasn't the outdated body, it wasn't the bad camera, it wasn't the battery, it wasn't anything along those lines. It was that the applications that I could download only could end up, giving me the iOS 14 or 15 version of those specific applications, not even 15, iOS 13 or iOS 14 versions. So if I were to go into the App Store and if I were to look up, like Snapchat, for example, and if I were to download this application on an iPhone XS that I have here on iOS 16, I can easily download it and I can easily update it. But one thing people tend to forget is that even when an iPhone is done getting software support, the applications like these ones, they don't necessarily stick around as often, or they're not really in tune with the iOS version on the phone. So even though the iPhone 6 stopped at iOS 12, it was still getting iOS 13 and iOS 14, updates on the softwares. So in terms of applications, which is really good. However, after a certain amount of time, like the iPhone 6, for example, that's severely outdated, you are going to get into a situation where these applications cannot really be downloaded anymore. So even if, let's say, Snapchat, brought a really cool feature within, they dropped it today, well, you're not going to be able to download that specific software version on your iPhone 6. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up now is because we have two new iPhones that are technically being dropped in support. We have the iPhone 6S and we have the iPhone 7. So because of that, it might make a lot more sense for you if you're planning on getting an iPhone or you're planning on using an iPhone very soon. I think an iPhone 6S and an iPhone 7, if you can make those things work for you, then obviously I would recommend keeping those devices pretty much for as long as you can. I think that makes the most amount of sense. But if you're planning on buying a new iPhone, you should probably keep in mind that even though the applications will probably still get support for maybe the next few years, you are going to be in a situation where your specific iPhone, probably in the next year or 2 years, will not be able to get the latest version of the applications anymore. It pretty much, as of this point, hasn't gotten any more software versions, because if you go into software update, you probably won't see the next version of software, but you will then not only be able to not see that, but you'll also not be able to see your applications being updated in the App Store either. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.